Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Laurie, your hair is wet. Is it a hurricane? Is it an earthquake? What happened?
It's the earthquake. The earthquake got my hair wet. I made it throughout this hurricane without getting a drop on me. It is bananas right at this moment at 7:03 p.m. Pacific.
Sunday
in
night.
the valley.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. I have, I have a pool at my house that was a massive waste of money. One benefit I thought was like, well, my son, he's such a loner. Maybe he'll throw pool parties. That's never happened once.
Right. He is as much a loner as you are. You've thrown one pool party.
Yeah, and I'm still in pain from it. So it's just an expense. Basically, it's a pretty one to look at, but I don't use it. I just go lap swim, right? So I put buckets all over the yard, and I've been pouring them in the pool as soon as they get full or half full because it's so heavy. But like all my empty merch plastic containers I'm filling.
I was like, do you have cast iron buckets? What's happening?
It's all merch stuff. So yeah, it's been it's like bailing water out of a boat, but I'm doing it in reverse. I'm throwing it in the pool.
Oh,
because water is so expensive. So anyway, that's
you're saving a shekel by taking water from the sky and pouring it into the pool. Yeah, that's very funny. That's hilarious.
And I don't like to waste, obviously.
Right,
but,
obviously. Andy,
still. Oh my God! I wish I should have bought like 100 barrels because I would be set for 2 years. Because you can't hear it, I guess, but it's crazy. It's bananas.
Right. That's nuts. Our room of requirement off the garage, which is essentially the podcasting, office game room off the garage. Andy was like, I'm so glad I moved all the boxes off the floor because there was some water had come into the room. He's like, we're going to have William over and see what he can do because it must have come in between the wall and the other wall. There's must have, yeah. But Andy picked a bunch of veg today so that it didn't get waterlogged and made, I guess, a delightful casserole. I'm in Washington, D.C. So
wow. You are traveling. Tell me about your week.
Well, the weird thing about right now and this day is that I am here an extra day. And I go to Nashville tomorrow, Monday, because my show is in Nashville at Zany's on Tuesday. And so I have these 2 nights or 2 full days where I don't have any shows. I don't know any people. And I'm alone. Now, you would think. Yes. Not. Just I was weirdly lonely I've been today. I know,
Jackie, you're without your mother-in-law and now you're craving people. What's wrong with you?
I know. There's no dogs. There's no husband. There's no rain or earthquake. There's no reason to do anything except I did sleep until about noon.
Wow.
So that was kind of amazing and it felt good. So yes. But last week, flew in a night early into New York to work with Maria. She did 4 shows. She got 4 standing ovations, but her new album just came out. So she's working on a bunch of new material as well as the old stuff that she's over. Right.
So
she has the same problem as we do. Yeah.
Okay. So she is still doing stuff that's on the album that just came out.
Yeah.
And she's doing new stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what. Some
of
these people are going out there I have a whole new hour. I'm like, what? How? Is your audience happy? You can give them the hits a little bit until you replace it with hits, right?
Yes. Right.
I don't know.
Right. Well, and that, and that's my attitude too. And that's, I believe, also her attitude, or at least that's how it's manifested, right? She's like, she's got this really great new bit that's going to be so good, but it's probably 6 minutes long. So last night's second show, she did 3 minutes of it. And then she was like, I can't do any more. You people don't deserve punchlines. And she, there were some punchlines in it. And it's going to be so great. It's about money,
Hmm.
and it's about people who are fabulously wealthy, and then just people who are wealthy, and
Hmm.
then people who pay other people, and how much you should pay everybody. And she handed a woman in the audience some money last night. She was like, "Your job is real," and it
I
was, yeah.
Oh, well, you guys, I was listening to the Pardo podcast with Maria and you shouting from the corner. It was really fun.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's nice to hear you having a good time on a podcast with a female comic who I'm like, who is this woman? Who's this Jackie?
Oh, this Jackie wasn't given a mic. This you, I insist on having a loud, good time if I'm unmiked. Yeah, Pardo. It was so funny because Maria, I was like, "Hey, do you want to go for coffee?" She's like, "Hey, I'm going to do Pardo's podcast. Will you come with me?" And I said, "Why don't you run that by him?" And he's like, "If you sit in the corner, like, and play the role of the tiny mute girl, then you can do it." And for the most part, I did. And then the next day, she was going to do Marin's, and she's like, "I don't think I can bring you to Marin's." And I said, "You cannot. You cannot bring me to his whatever current garage castle that he's rocking from."
Ooh, I wonder what it looks like, the new one.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done it since probably 10 years. I haven't done it. But I will. So we come to New York. We stayed at a Hampton Inn in Times Square,
Fun.
and it was so crowded. You would have hated it. Not a
Sure.
mask to be seen.
Ugh.
People far too close. You were like, no, not happy. And then we went to Sony Hall, and Sony Hall is a spooky, spooky old building. It's a warren. It looks like any number of people have been attacked and murdered and
What
destroyed in different crevices.
what did it used to be? Is it does it have did you
It was
see?
like a gentleman's like gambling club that got
Okay.
busted by the cops a bunch in the 40s and 50s. I mean, it looks like
Oh.
people have literally, that, oh, that's probably where people were attacked. And
Uh,
this is where they brought people to kick the shit out of them. And like the doorknobs are hands. So you shake a hand and turn the doorknob. You
ew.
Yeah, it's
That
gross.
is really, yeah,
It's
it's that is
genuinely disturbing. And like the lamps have like the lampshades are hands, and it's set up sort of like uh the it's an old-timey nightclubby look.
okay. It
So
sounds fun.
it's really cool. But it's also just too, and comedy is different from a band, right? Like the call time was 6 p.m., the show was at 8.
Oh, for God's sakes.
We
They don't
showed
know
up
that yet?
we showed up at 7:30. Every like they had like some sort
And
of
that's
weird
early.
cater. Right. Well, no, 7:30 for an 8 o'clock. I like a half an hour before. That's what I like. You kids and your I'm gonna show up at 5 too. That
3 minutes.
blows. 3 minutes.
That's a 7:57 call time, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's like a New York club sets. But so we go to the front door because we can't get in the back door. The security guy brings us downstairs, 3 flights of stairs, to the green room, where
Oh my
sadly,
God, it's 3 stories down.
yeah, yeah, into the earth, right next to the
Right,
core of the
right.
earth. And then and there were crudites, little crudité, and
Yes.
some flat soda. By then, 2 hours later, the soda was flat, the coffee was cold, there was no milk, there were no cups the first night. And I was like,
What?
"What's going on, guys?" And
How do you do half of it right? How do you not go that
right,
extra mile mentally and go, how do they drink this fluid?
so we sat down there from 7:30 to 10 to 8. And then we
Yeah.
walked upstairs the 3 flights to the side of the stage. And a sound guy came and he's like, "Have you guys been here the whole time?" Yes, yes, we have. And I was like, "So do you have a voice of God guy?" And they're like, "Nope." And so Maureen did voice of God both nights. But second night, here's the thing. So stand up comedy is loosey goosey, right? All you need is a mic and a hat store. And that's all you need. And so
Mhm.
um but we didn't know. So the first night was just sort of, we were both kind of discombobulated, and the show was fine. She did, by the way, 4 shows, 1 show each night at Sony, and then 2 shows at Kennedy Center last night. Standing ovation all 4 times. And
okay.
Yeah. So the second night when we showed up, we knew what it was going to be. We just hung out we hung out on the side of the stage. The soda was still flat. They had still set it up at 6. It was not smart. But they didn't, I don't think that they know stand up yet. So
but do musicians like that? It sounds like
musicians show up at 6 because they've got to set up all their equipment.
Yeah, but they still need cups.
They do. Well, and there were cups this time. There were plenty of cups. Because I did go down to see, I wanted a cauliflower or something. Anyway, so I went down. But so many laps up and down these fucking stairs. So anyway, second show, super fun. Like both audiences really nice. And then I saw a bunch of friends from college, and that was super fun. And I talked to Ophira. She couldn't hang, but we talked. I asked her if she wanted to do the Patreon extra 30 that we give the Patreons, and she's on board.
Yay.
Okay. And so is Aparna. So, but we haven't scheduled either of them yet. So,
well, we did schedule Aparna, and then
right,
you canceled. And then you texted us both and said, basically, I'm in the Zoom waiting room, and we're like, what?
Did I cancel?
You rescheduled.
Was this my fault?
Yeah, you had some kind of plane thing. Okay.
Why is everything my fault? Anyway, it's I
would say it's the fault of the Friendly Skies. But then you rescheduled in your head only, and she and I weren't aware that we were on
remember
board.
that. Yes, the second part of that I completely remind. It's one of those things where it's like when my dad told my stepmother he had 6 kids and didn't tell her that for real. And then my mother died, and she was like, "What do you mean I get the kids back?" And he's like, "The kids, Terry, Philip, Scott, Russ, Darla, Jackie, I get the kids back." And she's like, "Wait, you have 6 kids?" And then she married him. Anyway.
Wait, your dad was divorced from your mother.
Separated, sure.
Separated.
For like about 3 years. And so Nancy and my dad were living together for about 1.5 years.
And he didn't tell
Nancy that he had 6 children. I think she knew that I think she thought he just had Russ. Because Russ Russ was the bag man for cash to go to my grandmother. And
oh my God. Jackie.
I know. One of the funniest, saddest story. Oh, so much. That was the reason why not to take advice about men from Nancy Cation. But one of the saddest, funniest stories that I've never been able to make funnier than sad is that when my mom died, the cops came to tell us that she was dead with my dad. And I asked Russ who my dad was. And Russ was like, "That's Dad, you idiot." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
Yes.
You genuinely didn't recognize him?
No, I hadn't seen him since I was 4, and I was almost 8.
Wow. Jackie.
Yeah. I know.
That's shocking.
Where's the funny, Kilmartin? Where's the funny?
It hurts my heart to hear that.
I know. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Wow.
Yep.
Well,
there you go.
So what's the Kennedy Center like?
Ali Wong was playing the giant room.
Oh my God.
We were playing the middle-sized room.
Right.
And the woman who booked it, and I don't know, this didn't feel appropriate, quite honestly, but because I was like, "How big are the rooms? Can I please work the next smaller room?" And but Maria was very polite about it. Like, she didn't get mad that I was like, "How big is the..."
You're already trying to propel this into a solo Jackie event.
More work. Yes. Always looking for just one more ride on the dragon.
One more gig.
And and oh my God, and that's what Maria calls open mic. She's like, she calls it one more ride on the dragon. And but it was, oh God, her new stuff is really funny and went really well. But the Kennedy Center was such a relief after the haunted mansion that was the Sony Hall. And we stayed at what is actually an incredibly quiet Hampton Inn. I'm still here because Maria flew away
Looks
this
very
morning, went
relaxing.
home. It's nice. I walked out and I asked where the restaurants were. And the guy didn't. I went right. There's a magnet in my brain. I have no compass. So he probably told me to go left, and that was going to be 23rd, and then there was going to be a row of restaurants. That's where I went for dinner. For lunch, I took a right and ended up eventually looking at Google Maps and going, "Oh, there's a Whole Foods," and so that's where I went. So what I did today was I did a lot of editing of the Dork Forest, and I recorded another.
Are you gonna go see like the monument, the Washington Monument, that whole area?
I'm in Arlington. I'm on the other side, and and today was all admin-y stuff. Today would have been the day that I could have done it. Tomorrow, midday is when I fly to Nashville.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm in Nashville for a day early, so that I can chill out for a second, and then I have the show on Tuesday, and it's for Gilda's Club. It's a cancer benefit, and Tuesday night Nashville Zanies, day after tomorrow. For those of you listening, if you're in the Tennessee Nashville area, and they offered me today a tour of Gilda's Club. So
nice.
If I have time, I'm totally going to do it. So
I love Gilda Radner. You know, she was great.
Yeah,
really great. So I think Sony. Why is Sony Sony's not like a funny name. Like, couldn't they just, in tiny font, Sony presents the Speakeasy comedy venue? I don't know, something.
Right.
Sony just seems so corporate. It's such a weird name for a
low-level dirtbags were murdered here. Sony presents.
Yeah, some sort of ghost association or mob association would be kind of fun.
Right. The thing is it is really a cool, like, Franco, one of the managers, showed me, he paid me, Maria pays me, right? But usually the venue gives me like a hot 20 or something small. And he took me into a sort of an off room, and I was like, the hell is this room? And and he was like, oh, I said, this place is like a rabbit warren. He goes, there's 1,000 rooms. And so it's actually a very cool space.
Jackie,
and it's on 46th. Yeah.
No, I'm getting a news update. Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead. I wouldn't know, but we're already talking about Gilda. It's the same era.
That's probably when he died. I watched sports this weekend.
Which you watched? The Cup, the Women's Cup?
And when I say I watch sports, key plays. That's what I watched. I watched the key, because Andy really likes, that's the only sport he likes, is soccer. And and we were supposed to go to New Zealand and Australia and see that, but he got a gig, and so a bunch of his friends went, and we couldn't go. So
I didn't know you guys were planning to do that. How neat.
Yeah, it would have been great. All we get are pictures of other people seeing where hobbits were lived, and in New Zealand, and then knowing that the Adlers are watching the cup final between Spain and England.
I don't know who the Adlers are. Are they your friends?
Yes, they're. Andy has 40 close friends from college. 40. Like any day of the week, he could play a board game with at least 5 people. It's amazing. Yeah.
Did you see the women's soccer team from New Zealand did I don't know what the Aboriginal name of
Maori? The Maori?
Yeah, but whatever the dance was called, it's a little different from that, but it was like really fierce. And they weren't all Aboriginals doing it. It was kind of cool. It was like everyone was just,
and everybody was on board.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, and they're doing it at, I think, the British team, or I forget which team, but the other team, they cut to somebody and the person was like this. They seemed shocked. It was like, wow, it would be cool if every women's sporting event started like that, or at least soccer, just like a dance, like a dance from your country,
Right. It would be really cool. Dance like you mean it. Dance like you want to win.
Let's see. I had a few sets this week. I didn't have a full week. And then when they said the hurricane was coming, I was like, let me just not panic that I'm not working on a Saturday night.
Right.
Let me hunker down. I hunkered, which means I just, stayed home and didn't get mad at myself. And I am writing and working on my outline. So I'm pretty, it's nice to have that space. But so on Thursday, I did a couple, Flappers, it has the Burbank Comedy Festival. It ended on Saturday. And so I was put on 2 shows at a store called the Lucenette Collective, which is a cool little store. It's in Burbank. It's just down the street from Flappers, right?
Okay.
And it would be, your proverbial hat store, basically. But they have cool stuff in it. And so I get there and I'm just doing 5 minutes, and it's like 20 comics are on each lineup, And so I was like, all right, that's cool. So then, COVID's around big time right now. And I'm like looking at this it's a little store. It's, it doesn't need to have, it's not required to have crazy ventilation like a comedy club is,
Right.
And there's a lot of people in it. So I was like, I think I'm just going to keep the old mascaroni on during my set. It's only 5 minutes. And what I joked was that I tweeted too. I said, look, I'm going to wear my mask. If I'm going to get COVID from a comedy show, it's not going to be a 6 p.m. show. Right. And then on the 8 p.m. show, I said, it's not going to be on a Thursday night show. But, started with a laugh. I'm only doing 5. No one gives a fuck. So it was fine. But,
but you feel self-conscious. It's less and less people. Like, I want to do my mask chunk because it's not on anything, and I think it's funny. There's no one wearing masks, and no one really wants to talk about it. And but there were like 6 people out of 1,000 people last night that were wearing masks.
Wow.
So
it's weird. It's because there is a new variant. There's an uptick. A lot of hospitals are requiring their healthcare workers to wear masks after they stopped last month. So there is something happening a little bit.
Something in the air. There's something in the air.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah.
But I one thing I did I was at the West Side last night, or excuse me, Friday night, and I sort of started positioning myself as a prepper, as an excuse for why I, have a mask.
Oh, okay.
Or why I, wear it on my way to the stage, so that instead of, people, honestly, I don't know what some people said, even your head. I don't understand why everyone isn't masking all the time when, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to shame anybody. And I do think the human brain can only hold so much doom before it just disconnects and like, I don't care anymore. Right.
Right.
So I figure if I can figure out a way to make it myself just look slightly insane, which I'm sure I am anyway, and that might be what people think of me, then there won't be less antagonism with people that are really anti-mask. I could just be like, hey, I'm nuts. What can I do? We're all crazy some way.
That's hilarious. You're like, I think I used to do that when I rode the subway in New York. I was like, I'm going to be crazier than you. Don't talk to me. So it's a great way to try to keep people away.
Well, no, that's not what my intention isn't, to keep people away. I just don't want to get in arguments after the show when I'm wearing a mask selling merch. And if I just have some material sort of warning people, or just, going, hey, this is the stuff I'm worried about. And then I have other things I can incorporate into that sort of position, things
Yeah.
I worry about, then that'll just be a thing I can build, and
Right.
everyone can get off my ass.
Right. Are people actually saying shit to you?
A lot, a little bit, but sometimes I think people aren't saying something, but they feel weird. So
Right.
if I completely demolish any sort of,
It's preemptive.
right, any sort of a wall or something, and just, then they can like cheerfully make fun of me to my face for being crazy. Although, let's face it, Jackie, I'm right. Then, but I'll go along with it. Yeah, I'm the one that's insane. Okay.
Right. Okay.
But
Okay.
that's fine, then maybe it would be a little bit easier to navigate my way through these terrible times.
Yes. I'm getting a text from Andy about how good his casserole is. Congratulations.
When you get back home, will there be leftovers?
There will not be. It's the 27th.
Oh, that's not for a week. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gone for a while. Which is, last week I did the West Side as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I did have a story about it. I can't remember what it was. But I think it was back when I was irritated that some of the when a joke works and then it stops working and then it works, then you have to massage it a bunch of ways from Tuesday, and then all of a sudden it works again, or you give up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to give up, so I just kept, working it. And it's good to go on the road and stuff and try it in front of not just LA crowds,
Yes.
LA crowds, New York crowds. I don't have a lot of, like, there's things that I can work on in those situations that then I can then shove down the throats of the Midwest. But there are also
I know what you mean.
stuff in the Midwest that I can work on and then shove down the throats of the coasts. And I'm like, in both cases, I have to just remember to be patient about it and not lose my mind and give up on it, because they all have value and everybody can get everything. As I used to say back when this was pertinent, everyone gets cable. Nobody has cable anymore. So
I remember when I was in Albany, that was the week that do you hear this rain?
Nope.
No, did it just ramp up?
It just ramped up.
Oof.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I'm in a flat place, so if I was in the hills, holy shit, that'd be terrifying.
Well, that's the great thing about living in the valley, is that there's a whole range. I don't understand why it's sort of skipping over the valley and going to affect like Altadena or Joshua Tree and all that.
God loves the valley.
Well, it's starting in like Baja, and it doesn't care where the coast, like it's just going straight up, which is
it's ending around. It's just going straight.
It's not coming from the ocean, it's coming from the south, so it's going straight up, and it's, well, maybe not straight, but however it's going, the reason it's skipping a lot of the coast is that it's coming from the bottom, not from the side. Does that make sense?
See. That does make sense, actually. And it also makes sense that God loves the valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
818.
Oh, the Brody Stevens, his day was a couple days ago.
Every time I come to DC, I am reminded of I was at the Lincoln Memorial, the only time I've ever been. Brody Stevens was there.
What?
Yeah. I ran into Brody Stevens. He had a selfie stick and he was doing like Vine or something. Remember Vine?
Oh God, when he would stream.
Yeah,
he would stream when he was driving to the comedy store. Remember that, going, Brody, this is not safe. Oh my God.
My driving bit is kind of working better, by the way.
Yay.
About how I'm not a good driver and how I am definitely terrifying people driving next to me. Anyway,
I'll tell you what is working, my bit about my dog being in heat and where it goes from there.
Yeah.
I figured out the order of when the downs and the lows, the highs and the lows of the chunk is. So I'm pretty excited about that. So when I was in Albany, that was like, because I feel like that the Black Twitter bit was written and honed in LA and New York, right?
Right.
Amongst people who either
No
are black
people.
or
Yes.
no black people and are definitely on Twitter.
And
now,
are aware that there is a black Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Albany was
unaware.
Everybody was on Facebook and they were mostly white. And they were just like, what's black Twitter? Like they couldn't, whatever. It was a steep climb. It was a lot of calories expended as I began
as
to
you
realize
built
I had
some
to put
sort
my
of
whole
pulley system. Yes.
I had to put my whole body into the bit as opposed to just saying it, because I was like, maybe I'll get some laughs from moving my body in a weird way. So yeah, it's always good to get out of the coast, because there's a whole bunch of people who don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's actually super insider knowledge, even though to you, it's like,
it's common
101 humanity.
Right. Yeah. And it's so important. I think that's what the gift of the road is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that people are always like, well, you go to a lot of different places and you see, do you change your material? And I'm like, I don't on purpose, because I think that everybody needs to hear everything. And, I don't want to pander at any time. I don't want to dumb down my stuff for anybody, because they're not going to get it, or they're not, or they're, and I don't want to smarten it up because they think that they're too cool for the room. Like the bearded youth movement and the hipsters, where you're just like, no, I know that you think that this topic isn't, like, doing driving material in New York is its own challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because nobody drives.
Right.
And but if talk about leaning into it and using physicality, because I am trying to explain what it's like to drive and how boring it is, and how I don't particularly like it. I don't hate it. It's better than walking. I'm not going to buy a bike unless it's an electric bike. I really want an electric bike, but that's because I've always wanted a motorcycle or a moped.
People love electric bikes. I had a moped in college.
Man, your life was great. Anyway, I always wanted them. They were called sprees when we were in college. Did you have a spree?
I don't remember that. I don't think so. I don't remember what it was called, but I do remember that I was buying multiple 6-packs of Diet Pepsi. Remember the old Diet Pepsi logo with the funky font,
Yeah.
So I bought them at I think a Ralph's near UCLA, and I put them in my little baskets on the side of my moped. And then I was in traffic and I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm going to die. What am I doing? This is not a grocery store thing. This is like just getting from class to class. I did not die, but it was scary.
Right. It's like when I was in Vietnam and Cambodia, and you'd see like a whole family on a scooter. And I'm not even kidding. It was like 4 people on a scooter.
Wow.
And, the woman's holding the baby. The 5-year-old is, on the back of the dad. And they're stacked like, cordwood. And they're zipping around. And then, I mean, it's amazing. And nobody's saying a word. And I think if you rode a bike like that here in the United States, you'd get pulled over.
Possibly. Sure. Bikes are there. There was just some 17-year-old kid who was like a national biking champion that was killed while training. Like, bikes are so fucking dangerous.
This was a moped.
Jackie,
this
that's
was
Europe.
Yeah.
That's Europe activity. And when you relocate yourself and your man to Amsterdam, then you can bike all over the place. My son doesn't bike anywhere.
The Augie Smith joke about Amsterdam, where you can visit the saddest attic in the world.
Jackie,
yep.
Wait, I have to warn you. Yep. You need to get this driving bit on an album soon before Gen Z starts going to comedy clubs, because these kids do not drive and they don't want to learn how to drive.
Oh, fair enough.
It's not an obsession or an interest to them. So hurry up while millennials are still our top audience members.
Hey, we should take some kind of break or something, or
Yeah, let's
talk
do
about a
that.
comic of the week, or some.
Love it.
Okay.
Who is our comic of the week? Oh, it's
Oh,
Becky.
I
Becky.
worked with her. I worked with her at West Side on Friday. She's very funny and really funny jokes. And someone else was describing her as like delightfully awkward, which it's part of the relationship with the audience. And she was really fun. I was like, oh, this is great. How come I haven't seen her before? And her at is
her name
Becky.
Yeah.
Bex, Becks Yams, Mayams, Bex Yams.
Oh, plural?
Yeah.
All right.
Becky Yamamoto.
Becky Yamamoto, and it's Bekyams. Nice. All right, that's neat. And
you froze for me for a second, and I thought you were in deep thought about about Becky Yamamoto's Instagram name.
And what a good follow it will be when we all follow it.
Right. I was definitely no. I'm in a. There's this Wi-Fi is just okay in our nation's capital. Just so you know, and a bit of.
Oh, Jackie, we're in the middle of a hurricane, and I could lose it at any second. I mean, this rain right now is it's crazy.
It's coming down hard. All I'm getting is a text from Andy going, I did really good. It's delicious. This is literally, he's just talking about how great his casserole is. And then he sent me a picture of the dogs on a mat who are waiting for their share of it. He said, I'm calling this picture patience.
They look cute.
Yeah, they're just waiting for Chris to not finish her food so that they can have a couple of plates full of casserole.
I bought a little hammock.
Did you? She did freeze.
Yeah.
I have an REI hammock that I'd like to
swinging back and forth on it.
Yeah.
And Charmy was very disturbed by the swinging and tried to stop it many times. She would just sit there in front of it, and I'd bump into her, and then she'd like put her paws up and try to stop the swinging.
I have an REI camp bed that I really have always wanted to use and never have. Would you want that?
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
No.
Will you throw this out for me?
No.
Please, can I?
Jackie, you brought all your chairs to my house for that one pool party I threw that was a comedy show, and they're still in my house.
I gotta bring over this
dragging your garbage to my house.
Get this, all of my beanies came, right? While I was gone. All of my Made of Bees beanies. So I ordered the only way to get anything, any kind of a break on the price, I literally had to find a pile of cash. Well, I just put it on my credit card, but I ordered 500 of them. And it was they were almost $12 each. So with shipping, I'm gonna have to charge $30 for a beanie. They are very beautiful, and they are union made here in America.
Pardon?
They're union made here in America.
Right. So that's about what my books cost, about $11.
Yeah.
And I can't afford 500 at a time, even though that the shipping would be way cheaper. So I just get it a little. If I buy 1 million books, it's still the same price as if I buy 2. I get half off the list price as an author, or maybe 40%. I forget.
Yeah, no, they would have been something like $22 each if I would have gotten, I think, any smaller amount. So then I would have had to charge $50 a piece for them. And I know we all want to support unions, but so now I have to find a place to store 500 beanies. And Andy put them in plastic bins today because
how many boxes?
It was 4 boxes.
Right. And how many? Do you have the room for that?
Well, I've discontinued a couple of t-shirts. I discontinued one of the Dork Forest t-shirts, and I've discontinued the Meat Shield t-shirt. So, and the Spooky Reading Girl t-shirt. So I do have, there's some space, but I have to say that, that they were light. Like Andy did an inventory of them, and we're missing like 18 of them, which is a good $200 worth of hats. And so I emailed the guy and I was like, 18 is too many to miss, or 17 or whatever it is. So
right.
you can either refund me this amount of money, or you can find more hats. I'm okay if you don't find more hats, because I don't need 500 hats. It's going to take me a while to sell 500 hats. So even though I didn't realize it when I did the design, the purple hats are the purple of the Vikings, and next month I'm going to Minneapolis. So
Jackie, you might be out of hats by the end of the week.
Yeah. Right? And Minneapolis loves a union hat. The fact that they're union made and embroidered, that's kind of exciting, actually. Virginia Jones found the provider for me.
That's cool. What if you had different colors for different cities? Because who else has purple?
Well, I got 250 in purple and 250 in black.
Am I still here?
Yes, but you're a little frozen.
Okay.
You're crackling Rose. You went Neil Diamond on me.
Oh my God. Oh man, Jackie, deep cuts. So, but could you order like 100 of red, and that could be, whatever sports teams have. I don't even know, like the 49ers are red and gold. I'm not really sure if that would, really help with the punchline, but I wonder if you could order, instead of all purple, 5 colors, popular colors that go with various sports teams. And then,
it's not a bad idea.
No, I don't know.
Well, next time, at this point, I have 250 black ones and 250 purple ones.
Oh my gosh.
So it's
okay.
But black is pretty universal. Cool. People like a black beanie. And
they do.
Yep. And I have to say, the other set that I had last week actually was Aparna, opening for Aparna Nancherla, where she's working on a new hour. And at the Elysian, which I had been to only once, but for Ron Lynch's midnight show.
Okay. Oh, that place. So she's doing like residency at the Elysium.
Yeah, she did. She's got like 4 or 5 dates where she's
that's cool.
An hour. She has the greatest, like, Aparna Nancherla. If you have not seen her stand-up comedy, American public or international worldwide public, look into it. She's got a new bit about helping a worm, and you're like, dude, I could just listen to you talk about the weirdest things. It was a delight, quite honestly, and her audience was super nice. They were kind of young. There was a pile of like 14-year-olds. There were a lot of tweens and 14 boys.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then the other show I have this week, if you're in Wisconsin, I'm visiting my dad, so I picked up the cool Lyle gig in Oshkosh.
Yay.
And I found out that 2 of my friends who live in Los Angeles, who are from Oshkosh, are going to both be there.
Nice.
They're visiting their moms. I'm visiting my dad in Milwaukee. So they're going to come to the show. So I have sold at least 6 tickets because I made them buy tickets.
That's good. You should never comp anyone in when you're trying to fill a room, right?
Right. I told them I would take them to lunch. I was like, I'll take you to lunch. Just create the illusion that I'm selling tickets.
I think you might do better than you think. I know you haven't had a lot of time to advertise and stuff, but there's not much happening in Oshkosh. I mean, if they've had a good time at previous shows, they'll probably come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a Thursday in the summer. And so there's potential. I think it could, it'd be, and oh my gosh. So Carmen Morales was supposed to feature for me. Her and Anna Valenzuela were going to MC feature Split the Gig at Acme. Well, Carmen just got a headline week, so she's not coming. And Anna just found out that she's got a medical procedure at the end of August, and I was like, I don't know that you're going to be over that by
do we
mid
want that
September.
on the show? We might not.
I don't think she has an issue with it. She's pretty open about her stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're both so funny. Not that
Oh,
there
yeah.
aren't 1,000 awesome other funny. And weirdly enough, Brian Kiley, is going to be in Minneapolis that week.
Oh, neat.
And
Is he gonna
Mary,
do sets?
and Mary, he wanted to, but I had given them away to Anna and Carmen and Mary Jo Peel, who is an old friend of mine doing stand up again. She just worked with Josh Weinstein. Josh Weinstein is one of the creators of Freaks and Geeks.
Uh-huh.
Freaks and
Yeah.
Geeks TV show.
Elvis, J. Elvis.
Yeah, J. Elvis Weinstein. That's him.
Mhm.
I knew him when he was 19 and his name was Josh.
Wow.
Anyway, but you know what? I don't think you can go into the entertainment industry as a Josh Weinstein, but J. Elvis, you could rock it. And
Even as a Josh at this point, you have to explain yourself because there are
so many Joshes.
so many Joshes.
You're just joshing.
It's a comedy name. It really is.
Hey, let's take another break.
Okay.
And we're back. Yeah, so I also want I think like the Kenosha Comedy Club. I don't know what it pays, but I might be able to pick a setup.
I would think just because Oshkosh and Kenosha both have an SH in them or two, to me they're the same gig, but they're different and they're different places.
Yes, Oshkosh is a small theater,
Mhm.
like a movie theater in or is it?
I know. I did it.
You did
theater.
it.
Yes.
It's a theater? Okay, that's neat. And then Kenosha is a 4-wall in a Marriott or a Best
nice.
Western. Yeah.
Okay, so you stay at the hotel.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's more of a if you're already in town visiting your parents type of thing.
Right.
Money wise. Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I was told it was this with no air.
Oh yeah, that's going home for Thanksgiving and you're around in the neighborhood anyway.
Unless you've booked another one 2 days later.
Yeah.
And then another one after that.
Mm.
So yeah.
Well, I finished. Okay, I had to look at my special for color and sound.
Oh, did
you? I don't know what to do with color. I'm just like I see myself. It's okay. And so Bruce said it sounded great and the color was fine. So I was like, I trust your judgment on that. And so that's signed off on. I don't know. I'm still waiting to tweak the trailer because I put the trailer in our chat, but
I saw it had. And I thought your notes were perfect. Were correct.
Yeah, the sting. They have like a little musical sting, and it was exactly like a Tough Crowd Comedy Central 2003, kind of thing between jokes. And I'm like, no. So I wanted something more adult.
I prefer Benny Hill. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, and that's the other thing I changed was from what they had originally made was the font for what the special looked like. I wanted it to be a little more Edgar Allan Poe-y, and so somebody on Twitter suggested one that I used. So I thanked her in the thank yous at the end.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so it should be close to being ready to be out, but I don't know where yet. I mean, I don't even know anymore what this business wants, but it's got a bunch of words in the title that will elicit a hate watch. And why not? Since I named it, Elon Musk had said cis is a slur. Ron DeSantis is, running for president on the word woke. And we all know what a slut is, and grief is just for me. So
Right.
I feel like there's something for Netflix if they want it. You don't have to always put the same female comics on who are doing an hour every third year. That's, I mean, good for them, but guess what? There's more of us. But
Right.
you could do us too, and you
Mhm.
need content because you're not getting any new shit. So I don't know.
Right. Yep. I have to say that I commented on a Nikki Glazer clip today
Mhm.
because it was about DJ Khalid.
Khalid.
Yeah,
Khalid, yeah.
Khalid.
He
and how
famously doesn't like to
go down on women.
perform
Yes.
oral sex on the ladies.
Yes.
Right.
And so she does a bit about how dumb that is.
Yeah.
And it's not about oral. I mean, the thing is, the joke is it's a good joke, but it's so funny because there's three kinds of posts, right? It's really funny.
Yeah.
I would completely perform oral sex on you, Nikki Glazer. And why do women constantly talk about their pussies? And so I said
three kinds of comments
three
for
kinds of
her.
comments.
Oh, I see. Okay.
On her,
Yeah.
there were like 400 comments, right?
Oh my God. Right.
And
Okay.
right. And so my comment was, I think it's hilarious that anyone thinks that this is actually about oral sex. And when it's entirely about how much, and I didn't say this, but it's entirely about how much she doesn't like that guy. and how that guy doesn't really do anything except for he's a producer and he yells his own name a lot.
Mhm.
And you're just like, nope. I remember when I think it was Snapchat first came out.
Yeah.
I inadvertently ended up following him. And so I saw his, I don't think she's his wife, but he filmed the birth of his son. And we never got to meet his wife or his partner.
Oh, we just saw the
baby.
The down below.
Yeah. And then we got to meet the nannies.
Oh
and I was like, this piece of shit is not a good person.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then the other Snapchat I remember of him was him telling one of his security guys to never take a day off. And I was like, you're exhausting. You're a really exhausting piece of shit.
She has that bit she did for Conan where her vagina looks like I forget the exact phrasing, but her phrasing is perfect. It's like a poorly packed suitcase. I love it. I hope that's the wording.
Outstanding.
Whatever she had was pinpoint precise.
That is so great.
Yeah.
Oh
and
God.
Conan was what turned 400 shades of Irish Catholic red.
Too funny. I think that's hilarious. I feel like we're real close here.
It feels close.
We got 53 minutes is where we're at.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, 7 minutes. That feels like a lot. Okay, well
it's such a dark and literally stormy night. Really, right now, it's kind of haunting.
It does feel kind of like we're doing a cursed podcast.
It does.
It's so quiet where I am. It's and you know what's interesting at the Hampton Inns? This is not an interesting story, but we got time. So let me tell you, is that when I check in to a Hilton property, which is my favorite, and I say, could I get a bathtub?
Right.
Currently, there's a lot of times I'll check in and they're like, oh, none of them, because all the boutique hotels don't have rainwater. They want you to cry underneath the shower.
Right.
That's all it's for. And but they're constantly saying, oh, a lot of the rooms don't have bathtubs. And then I go to the room and they do have bathtubs. And they have bathtubs because I think that they think that I want a jacuzzi. I think they think that I want some sort of fancy pants, with a manservant and a bottle of champagne and I want to eat caviar off somebody's left shoulder. I don't. What I want is essentially a hip bath, which is the depth of those things. It's a shower bath like we all have in our homes, right? Except for you, sadly, had to take it out. But yeah.
Jackie, how many lives did I save when I took that tub out?
At
First
least
of
one.
all, that tub attacked me.
Oh,
Remember, I had a really bad flu, and
oh.
I was faint. I was lightheaded, and I crawled to the bathroom, and I sat on the toilet, and I did what we all do, and then I fainted, and I hit my head. I mean, it could have been so much worse. I hit this part of my head,
Yeah.
right above my eye, which is really tough bone.
That's a terrible flu. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, it could have been my teeth. It could have been a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and then I saw my mom like shaking as her legs were going over, and I'm like, this is gonna end so badly. So then I took that tub out and made it a big fat shower.
We got one of those showers. It's got a chair in it. It's real nice.
It's pretty much the same as what you gave Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm preparing for my elderly future at every turn, Jackie. It's
if you listen, yeah,
flat floors. It's no steps. I glide into the shower and I glide back.
There was one of the people that Julia Louis-Dreyfus interviewed on that podcast season of hers, where she interviewed very old women, talked about how she's had her whole house. She's in pretty good health. She's about 80, but she knows that her hands are going to go and she's not going to be able to do knobs.
Right.
So everything is sort of longer levers, not levers, but like
I know that you're talking about.
And she's got that on the taps. The taps are like sticks, so
it's
that
so
you can
smart to think of
travel.
that stuff. And
she's like,
I don't know if you can do it ahead of time or when you're replacing things anyway.
yes,
as you are seeing somebody elderly up close, it all starts to cascade pretty quickly when you start losing abilities.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you have to change everything. So, get a little head start. Maybe it's not the hip, it's not the fall on your, that alerts you to the fact that you need to change things, because maybe you put a grab rail at the place where you needed it a couple years early,
Right. It's true. And I kind of want to listen to that again. all of those pods.
Yeah, this is the last 7 minutes of this pod is just about cruising into elderlyhood. That's what I think.
Worth it.
Yeah. Think ahead, guys. I always
we're living in the hood.
Tell my son to think of his future self. Oh, by the way, he's blown both of his paychecks. I was trying to get him to learn how to save money, and I thought he had a couple hundred left, and he's like, nah.
Right.
He took the bus to the movie theater and he saw a movie by himself, and then he took his friends and they saw the Ninja Turtles movie and he paid, and I'm like, I mean, you must be popular, but right. Like, I need my next check.
Yes, we all need our next check. Good job, young man.
The harsh realities. Yeah.